Welcome to this explainer. Right off the bat, I want you to just take a slow, deep breath. Okay, now imagine waking up 4,000 years ago. You stroll into your bathroom, but there is absolutely nothing there. No body wash, no shampoo, definitely no hand sanitizer, literally nothing. But, people back then still managed to wash their clothes, clean their bodies, and somehow stay healthy. The story of how they pulled this off, and how we eventually created one of humanity's absolute greatest survival tools, well, it's not just a story about getting clean. It's this massive, fascinating puzzle involving disease, civilization, trade, and just pure human ingenuity. So today, we are exploring the global evolution of soap.
So, what did people use before soap even existed? It sounds like a simple question, right? But man, it paints an absolute necessity just to survive. But without any manufactured products, how did they actually do it?
Okay, let's dive into this. Naturally, the earliest humans went straight to rivers and lakes. Water was basically our very first cleaning tool. And hey, water is fantastic at washing away your basic mud and dirt. But we hit a massive wall when it comes to grease. If you've ever cooked, you know for sure that grease and plain water, they do not mix. Animal fat from a hunt would just stubbornly stick to their hands, and the greasy smoke from their fires would just coat their skin. Plain water was literally powerless against it. So without even realizing it, our ancestors kicked off a thousands of years long search for something better.
Before they could actually invent a product, they had to turn to the raw earth. It was pure trial and error. First up, sand. They literally rubbed sand directly onto their skin to just physically scrape away the grime. Next, they figured out clay. When you mix clay with water, it actually absorbs excess oils. Believe it or not, we still use clay in high-end face masks today for that exact same reason. And finally, some communities figured out that specific leaves and roots, when crushed up in water, magically created this foaming, cleansing lather. Now that foaming lather, absolutely no magic involved there. That was straight up biology. Those specific plants contained natural chemical compounds called saponins. All across Asia, Africa, and the Americas, ancient communities accidentally stumbled upon nature's very own detergent. They had zero understanding of the complex chemistry behind it, but hey, they knew it worked. It's kind of amazing. Humans across completely different continents were solving the exact same hygiene problem in surprisingly similar ways.
Section 1. The accidental discovery, from campfire to cleanser.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because a much bigger, way stranger breakthrough was waiting right around the corner. Picture this, an ancient campfire that's been burning for days. Step 1, animal fat drips down from the roasting meat. Step 2, the wood burns away, leaving behind this thick pile of white alkaline ashes. And then, step 3, a heavy rain falls. That rainwater washes the ashes and the animal fat together into a puddle. When those early humans came back, they found this really strange, slippery substance. And when they touched it, they realized, wow, this cleans our hands incredibly well. Today, modern science actually gives this magical campfire puddle a very specific name. We call it saponification. It's the exact chemical process that happens when alkaline compounds, like that campfire ash, and oils, like the animal fat, combine under just the right conditions to create basic soap. Those early humans obviously had no idea they were performing complex chemistry in the dirt, but they recognized those incredible results instantly. Section 2. Bizarre ancient hygiene practices. Now, as humanity evolved and started building these massive empires, soap didn't immediately become the go-to for bathing. The earliest written evidence we actually have of this fat and ash mixture comes from clay tablets in ancient Mesopotamia, right around 2800 BCE. But get this, it wasn't really for bathing. They used it mostly to clean wool and textiles. Meanwhile, over in ancient Egypt, personal grooming was a huge deal, largely because of the hot climate. They mixed animal and vegetable oils with alkaline salts. But for them, regular washing wasn't just practical. It was this deeply essential spiritual ritual to ensure they were pure before their gods. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how starkly it contrasts with our modern habits. When we picture the ancient Greeks and Romans, we usually think of those massive, stunning public bathhouses. But soap wasn't actually their primary cleanser. Instead, they would cover their skin in rich olive oil. Then, after working up a sweat, they'd take this curved metal tool called a strigil, and they would physically scrape the oil, the dead skin, the sweat, and the dirt right off their bodies. For centuries, across millions of people, this scraping method was considered the absolute peak of normal hygiene. But if you think scraping off oil with metal is a little unusual, I want you to consider this question for a moment. Why did the highly advanced ancient Romans intentionally place public collection pots for urine all around their city streets? I'll give you a second to just think about that. Well, the answer lies in their commercial laundries, which they called foulonicae. You see, urine contains ammonia, and ammonia happens to be a fantastic natural cleaning agent. So Roman workers would stand in these large tubs, literally stomping on dirty clothes in pools of aged urine because the ammonia would brilliantly break down tough stains. I mean, the smell must have been absolutely eye-watering. But to the highly practical Romans, the results mattered way more than comfort. It just goes to show that ancient technology was often highly effective and, well, wonderfully gross.
Section 3. The Rise of True Soap. From Luxury to Lifesaver.
Thankfully, we didn't stick with aged urine and metal scrapers forever. During the early Middle Ages, artisans around the Mediterranean began refining the soap-making process, finally swapping out harsh animal fats for gentle olive oil. Then, a massive leap happened during the Islamic Golden Age. Scientists and chemists completely revolutionized the game. They introduced vegetable oils, added these beautiful aromatic ingredients, and really turned production into an organized scientific industry. And thanks to expanding trade routes, this sophisticated, high-quality soap started spreading across continents as a highly valuable, sought-after commodity. So the crucial point is, even with all those amazing advancements, before the Industrial Revolution, soap was mostly an expensive specialty product for the wealthy. But the Industrial Revolution totally flipped the script. Suddenly, factories could produce massive quantities of soap super fast. Prices plummeted. And just as these crowded, newly industrialized cities were facing terrible sanitation crises, public health campaigns started pushing hard for regular washing. Practically overnight, soap transformed from a rare luxury into an affordable, daily necessity for the masses. Section 4. The Invisible Scientific Battle. And this brilliantly illustrates something incredible. This mass adoption of soap sparked a huge sanitation revolution, which is just mind-blowing when you remember one vital fact. For almost all of human history, people had absolutely no idea that germs even existed. Their accidental discovery of soap was fighting a war they literally couldn't see. When you wash your hands, you are essentially deploying a chemical weapon. One end of a microscopic soap molecule loves water, and it attaches right to it. The other end hates water, but it absolutely loves oils, dirt, and dangerous microscopic organisms, so it grabs onto the bacteria. Then when the water washes away, the soap rips those contaminants right off your skin and safely down the drain. Without knowing a single thing about microbiology, ancient people invented one of our greatest medical lifesavers. We have come an incredibly long way from rubbing sand on our skin and mixing campfire ashes with animal fat. Entire civilizations rose and fell before the simple bit of chemistry became a normal daily habit. So the very next time you walk into your bathroom and pick up that simple bar sitting quietly next to your sink, I really want you to look at it a little differently. Just ask yourself, how many plagues has this simple block of fat and ash prevented? How many lives has it saved today alone? It truly is one of the most extraordinary inventions in human history. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. I'll leave you with this one final thought. If a simple puddle of fat and ash could completely change the course of human survival, what other miracles are just hiding in plain sight in your bathroom cabinet right now? Keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.